Hey there YouTube, MrLuBuFu. I have to go kinda quick here, so I have to make the entire video in under 15 minutes, and everyone knows I talk too much. So let's go ahead, hop right in. Complete set analysis, blue, as I said, focusing mostly on pre-release. Okay, let's go. Vaporkin is a 2/1 flyer for 2 that can only block creatures with flying. Very aggressive blue card. It's okay. I think it's fine. Triton Tactics is a card I like a lot. 2 target creatures each get +0/+3. Untap those creatures at this turn's turn's next end of combat. Tap each creature that was blocked and doesn't untap, just for a blue. Not only does it trigger heroic on 2 creatures, it can cause blowouts, like you attack with a 5/5 and then they attack with 2 4/4s or something like that. Being able to untap your 5/5, eat a creature, it's very powerful. This is a card to keep an eye out for, especially if they're playing blue and leave up single blue. Triton Shore Thief I don't like at all. It's a 1/2 for 1. I hate most 1-drops, to be honest, in limited. Thassa's Bounty, a 6 mana, draw 3 cards, target player mills 3. So this is going to be okay. I mean, it's no opportunity or anything, but it can be playable if you're slower on the blue side. Stymied Hopes is fine. You'll occasionally get blown out by it just because you won't expect it, but other than that, it won't see much play because it's not terribly good. Sea God's Revenge, return 3 target creatures to their owner's hands, scry 1. Very powerful. I think it's going to be better in Sealed because Sealed is going to be nice and slow, and triple unsummon can just win the game. Prescient Chimera, 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, scry 1. Normally pay 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer. This is certainly a very, very good card. It's a nice, powerful flyer, and it's I'd say one of the top blue commons. Mnemonic Wall is a card I'm glad that they reprinted, just because it's fun to play. It's a 5 mana 0/4, but when it enters the battlefield, you return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. You have to have good instants or sorceries to make it work. I'm not sure if in this format it'll be as good as in the Rides of Eldrazi, but it might be okay. Melitist Charlatan, sorry. 3 mana 2/3, which, as I mentioned in the previous video, is a lot of 2/3s, or 3 toughness creatures. And the controller of target instant or sorcery spell copies it. So it's not copy target instant or sorcery, you choose new targets. It's basically copy target instant or sorcery that you control, because you're not going to be doing it for your opponent, because your opponent's only going to be playing good instants or sorceries. So Horizon Scholar, 6 mana 4/4 flyer, which is not bad. 6 mana 4/4 flyer is, you know, again, it could just be a beating, and the additional text is fine. You describe to. Griptide's a card that I liked a lot back in Dark Ascension, and in this format it's fine. It's important to know that because it's an instant, you can really change the tempo of the game and make it a total blowout. So Griptide, I think, is going to be pretty solid in delaying the game if you're in blue, because blue doesn't have many solid ways to deal with creatures, really, apart from tempo. Fate Foretold is a card that a lot of people seem very mixed on. I feel it's a lot like Chosen of Heliod or whatever that one is. So it cycles by itself, so it triggers heroic, and if it dies, its controller draws a card. So it basically is a heroic trigger. It cycles, so you can play it, and you'll be fine with it. Crackling Triton. So if you're in blue-red, it's pretty good. Being able to shock something at the cost of the Triton is fine. But again, another 2/3. It's important to note that there's, as I said, a lot of 2 power guys and a lot of 3 toughness guys. Next, we have Coastline Chimera. So it's a 4 mana 1/5 flyer. So typically 4 mana 1/5 flyers are just big walls, is the way I see it. And this one fits that role because it can block an additional creature. So it's a double blocking wall. But that's it. You're not going to get much out of that. Breaching Hippocamp, it's a 3/2 flash, untap another target creature you control. So yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Deceiver Exarch or Pestermite are in Modern Twin, but a 3/2 flash that can randomly untap a big creature can be quite relevant. I think it's certainly a very powerful effect, and if you can get it going, it's a good value blue creature. Benthic Giant, 6 mana, 4/5 hexproof. I guess, I mean, 6 mana is a lot in limited. even for slow formats. So I don't know. He might be a finisher for top of the curve. Aqueous Form, basically target creature is unblockable. Can't be blocked, I know is the new phrasing. And when it attacks, scry 1. So it's another heroic trigger, making your creature unblockable for 1. Can be good. Not much to say. Annul, reprint, counter target artifact or enchantment. It's fine. It's probably going to be better in this format because there's a lot of enchantments, but I wouldn't necessarily main deck it, to be honest. Ordeal of Thassa, another one of these heroic sort of enchantments, but I don't like the Ordeals, to be honest, as I mentioned in the last video. Prognostic Sphinx, so it's a big 3/5 flyer for 5, so that body itself is fine. You can discard a card to give it hexproof until end of turn and tap it, and when it attacks, scry 3. Definitely a more powerful limited card, and certainly something you can keep if you pick up. Is probably worth playing. Swan Song, I typically don't like playing counterspells in limited, but Swan Song and Dissolve, I like Dissolve a lot better than Swan Song, to be honest. Counter target spell, scry 1. Thassa, if you open her player, I mean, this is true for all the gods, you play it, even, you just move on and be happy with it. Triton Fortune Hunter, I think one of the better blue heroic creatures, being able to cycle any spell that targets it, makes it much better. It makes any of your enchantments just free, basically. You get the card back, and you get the value from the enchantment itself, so a pretty powerful card if you have the effects for it. Gainsay, I would only leave in your sideboard and bring it in if they're playing blue. Just move on. Master of Waves is certainly a card. I'm not sure how to judge it in limited, to be honest, but I think it's fine. Being able to get an army of 2/1s is not irrelevant. With Crash Triton, so here's another Horn Turtle that has another good heroic ability or trigger. Be able to tap creatures and make them not untap can be powerful. Not as good, I think, as the Fortune Hunter, but still pretty good. Sealock Monster, so it's a 5/5 that basically you need to use Monstrosity to make it attack, and I don't like it that much, to be honest. I like it if my 5/5s for 5 could attack in a format where there's very little removal. Thassa's Emissary, as I said before, I like all of the emissaries. This one's also good. I would probably just play it as a 4-mana 3/3 if it deals combat damage, draw a card, than the Bestow. But Bestow for 6 is also pretty cheap for the Bestow cost, I think, and it can do a lot of work. Artisan of Forms, sort of repeatable clone if you have the effects. I have to play with it to know, but I think it's pretty bad. Omen Speaker is a card that I'd probably play. A 1/3 for 2, again, another 3 toughness thing. And being able to scry 2 is probably fine. Curse of the Swine is a card I like a lot for limited, just because, well, how does blue deal with a 4/4? It really can't. And this is one of the few ways. Yeah, it's rare, so you can't hope on it, but it's not bad. Lost in Labyrinth, I don't think is playable. Voyage's Edge, I like a lot. It's unsummoned. I like unsummoning effects. Badent of Thassa is a very powerful card. I'd play it in limited because of obvious reasons. Shipbreaker Kraken, the pre-release promo. It's a 6/6 for 6, and as I've been saying, there's very few ways to answer a big creature in this format. So even without the Monstrosity ability, just a 6/6 for 6 is basically what you're paying for starters. And if you get to there, you probably are winning the game. And lastly, we have Nimbus Naiad. As I said, I like these common nymphs. They're probably some of the best Bestow creatures, or especially at common, because for 5 mana, giving it +2/+2 when flying, and then getting a Wind Drake attached to it, pretty good, I think. Anyway, that's it for Blue. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and remember to check out the other videos in the series.